When building your new awesome gaming PC, there's one part that you very well could have completely overlooked. And this important computer-related part can change your entire gaming experience. Stay tuned and find out. So you researched budget-friendly builds such as the one on my channel, other channels that are all over the web, and you've gone out and you've spent money on the best GPU and CPU that you could buy. You have ample high-speed RAM and all of the other components to make up this great new PC build. In the process, you left no thought or money aside for some of the peripheral components, like a keyboard, a mouse, speakers or a headset, and of course, your monitor. And now you're using an HD TV, it's 1080p, and you think, hey, it's a pretty big screen, it's relatively cheap, I had it laying around, this is amazing. And it will make do, I've done it in the past, but the fact of the matter is you're completely bottlenecking your experience. For example, let's say one game you have 120 frames per second that you're averaging. And your TV that you're using now, yes, it's 1080p, so it's high definition, but it's likely a 60 hertz refresh rate. So what you're essentially doing here is you have a computer that's putting out 120 frames per second, but then you have a display that's really only capable of showing you really 60 frames per second. Now, TVs generally will include some intercalation in order to smooth out the framing, but this is really not the same thing as having a true 120 frames per second. Actually, it's not the same thing at all, and it's quite inferior. It doesn't make sense that you'd put this money into such a good rig that's capable of giving you great frame rates at high settings, and you're not even utilizing it. Now, the issue is that if you look at most build guides, they don't ever really touch on this. The peripherals are always sort of an afterthought, and when you see a build guide, even like the one on my channel that says $650, $750, $800, whatever the budget is, they're really only talking about the hardware components that are in the build itself within the case. In addition to that, you're also not really going to have accurate colors. So if you're into computer editing or you're into graphic design on a computer, you're a content creator of some sort, it's going to be much more difficult when you do your editing and your color corrections because typically a television is going to have colors that may be more robust in certain areas but not totally true to the actual color itself. This is because when you're watching something on a television, it's more for a viewing experience and to enhance a movie or a TV show that you're watching. Whereas when you're using a monitor for graphic design or for editing or other content creation, what you want is an accurate depiction of the colors and not necessarily something that's going to make things pop just because it gives you a better experience. Now, this could lead to some issues when you're doing your color correction because it's going to completely influence the way things look to you, and what other people see is not actually what you've done. So there's a problem there as well. Now, I do think that spending a ton of money on a monitor that's going to give you an extremely high refresh rate probably is not worth your while. And I also want to say that when you use a television, like for example a 1080p HD TV that gives you 60 hertz, it's certainly usable. If you're not the type of person that is interested in competitive first-person shooters or that type of gaming, and you don't need every little competitive advantage like seeing additional frames, then you know what, it may not matter that much to you. Similarly, if you're not a content creator, you're not doing video editing or such, then the true to color thing probably won't matter as much to you either. But I do want to reiterate that when you're putting so much of your money into a performance-oriented computer to give you the highest frame rates possible and doing so under ultra and high settings, and then you're pretty much just capping it at 60 frames per second because of your display, it's kind of doing you and your money a disservice. So I just want to reiterate this. I think in the future I may do some budget-oriented monitor reviews. There are some that I definitely have in mind. If that's something that you're interested in, please let me know in the comments. Drop a like and please do subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching.